right center. That ball is gone into Monument Park.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 39th episode of the Monument Bark podcast. We have arrived. The Bark is back for its third season, and we are so excited to get rolling. The New York Yankees are going to be very interesting this year, and we love to talk about them. So here we are. Luke, how have you been? And can you imagine we have been watching Yankee baseball for 15 plus years?
I'm doing well. It's always good when the season rolls around. Just feels like having baseball on every day is kind of the best time of year for sports. And yeah, I mean, we're going into probably our 15th year watching the Yankees, and now Derek Jeter's protege is starting at shortstop. So it's kind of a full circle moment for both of us. And yeah, I'm excited for it to get started.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the first time where something like kind of hit close to home. You know, I saw Anthony Volpe play in high school against my high school. He hit a grand slam off one of my best friends in high school. And, you know, that's 3-4 years ago. And here he is starting at shortstop for the New York Yankees. It's like things that you can't really make up. Like if you had told me I was standing there right there, that kid would be the starting shortstop for the Yankees my sophomore year of college, I just would have told you were kind of crazy because, you know, it's so hard to get to the big leagues. And I know he was a top prospect and whatnot, but a lot can happen in the minor leagues. And here we are. So we'll talk more about Volpe a little later, but, you know, the Yankees are coming into this season, you know, offensively looking solid. But the pitching, man, is thin. And when we got Carlos Rodon in the offseason, we're talking about how he had the deepest rotation in baseball. And like we've got Clark Schmidt not even in the starting, you know, 5. Like so now he's forced into the number 2 spot, 3 spot. He's starting game 2 in the Giants series. But if you look at a rotation right now, it's Cole, Schmidt, Herman, Nestor, and Johnny Brito. So that's just terrible. But the beauty of this is Carlos Rodon's looking into maybe an early May return. So that's early May, late April. That's cool. Okay, like we'll get him back. It's just a little concerning because he's had injuries before. And, you know, you got to look at everyone's injury resume. Injuries don't really go away. If you get injured a lot, you're going to be on the shelf. You know, Rodon's been injured on the White Sox. He had a dead arm when he was on the Giants. And then here we are with another injury. Luis Severino. I mean, could this guy pitch a full season if he tried? It's his contract year, and he's got a lat problem. Okay, he's on the shelf. Frankie Montas, what has he done for us? Nothing. And he's probably not going to do a whole lot for us this year. And that's going to go down as one of the worst trades that we've ever made. We've got, you know, 2 starters that we can really rely on. And that stinks. So I'm really hoping that we can kind of play, you know, 550, 600 baseball. So by the time we get our reinforcements back, we're in a good spot in the division. What do you think?
I'm not worried about Rodon, honestly. I mean, knock on wood, but the quotes he said right when he got hurt was just like nothing serious. He would have been pitching if it was a pennant race. He would have been pitching if it was the playoffs. And it sounded just like he did the smart thing that we've been asking our players to do for years, where you speak before it becomes a thing. And then, okay, you take a couple days off, you ramp up a little extra. He's missing probably 2 or 3 starts. Like he's already throwing high velocity bullpens, so I'm not worried about him. Severino, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he just like doesn't pitch. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over and over again.
Yep.
There's no way to predict how this is gonna work. My honest hope is that we have Cole, Rodon, Nestor at the top, and then trade for a guy. Someone steps up. I'm pretty high on Herman from a performance standpoint, to be honest. I don't think like he's gonna have a couple not good ones, but throughout the year, I'm not too worried about having him as like the 4-5. It'd be nice if we could get a 4 and then push him to 5. That would
Yeah.
be the ideal thing.
Yeah.
But it will be. I've been a Clark Schmidt. I just love the SEC. I love college sports. I'm just an SEC person when it comes to I believe in the talent difference and all that. And it'll be good to see him get some run because he's had kind of similar to Andy Har when he was coming back, where it was little opportunities here, then it'd be stopped for a month and then another little stretch. You can't really develop a guy like that or give him a fair shot per se. And I think that we could see him develop into a 4, and I wouldn't be shocked either. So, yeah, I think it may be kind of a blessing in disguise from Rodon's perspective. Get him a little extra rest to start the year. Get Schmidt a couple starts. But yeah, the Sevy thing's a disaster. I don't really Montas. I could see them trying to bring him back as a reliever at the end, like they did with Sevy, the year before last year.
Yep.
Because what's he gonna come back in August after not pitching? I don't know. We'll see where the team's at. And yeah, also the bullpen's hurt, banged up, Lou Trevino and Canely. But yeah, no, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of injuries. I don't know.
To go on Severino, he's just a guy that he'll get hurt and then try to come back and then re-injure himself. How many times within the last 2 years did he get hurt in a rehab start? I feel like it happened more than once. Luis Severino is in his contract year, though. After this year, he doesn't have to be a Yankee. So the Yankees could hypothetically maybe make his process to getting back on the field a little faster. It's probably not smart, but who cares, right? He's not gonna be. It's like a running back in a contract year. You just run him to the ground. Let's go. He's got to come back healthy so that he can help you win. But we shouldn't give him as much of a leash like we did last year. Because just on and on and on. He had a new injury in a rehab game. How do you do that? So I think they're just going to be a little less careful with him than they have in the past because he's just not under control next year.
I was thinking that he may know it's his contract year, know he has to get paid, and that's why he spoke up early.
Yeah.
This time.
It's fair.
So I think that could be another thing where he's going to let him know about every single injury because he's trying to get as much healthy baseball in him. Even if he's not doesn't pitch the whole year, but he pitches great when he pitches, that's still enough leverage to get him another life-changing contract playing Major League Baseball. So it's one of those things where I think his agent, his people might be in his ear all right, if you feel anything, just stop.
Yeah.
And rehab it and try and get back. He's one of those where until I see him take the mound in a playoff game, I'm not going to trust that he's going to be there when the playoffs happen.
Yeah. He's already got
such a mess. Yeah.
And he already got his first contract, seeing Noah Syndergaard get he got 10 million last year, 10, 12 million. You come back and show that you can still do it. You're going to get paid in the tens. He just wants.
He's going to get a lot of money. I think
not
a lot, but
he's going to get more than J-Mo did with the Cubs deal. But he just has to the thing is J-Mo he's already had his arm trouble, and he's been healthy. Severino, he's had his arm trouble, but he hasn't. Severino had Tommy John, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's had everything
because J-Mo had Tommy John not once but twice. So
yeah.
So you don't have to worry about a guy like that. But Severino, if he pitches a full season, he's gonna get 17 to 20 a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, Tyone got 4 for 68.
4 for 68.
Yeah, I mean that's.
See, we're doing a podcast. We're not doing 17.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, so I don't know if the injury. It depends how much he pitches this year, but quality pitching is valuable.
And who knows? Maybe he'll just get another 1-year deal next year if he doesn't pitch the whole season and maybe back on the Yankees.
We'll see.
You brought up the bullpen, so the bullpen's interesting. Lou Trevino, he was fine last year. Brought him in the playoffs. He was all right. He had a couple. He was up and down. He wasn't he was just
He's just
what we
pretty
expected.
mediocre.
He's just
Yeah.
mediocre. He's just a guy that like you use up your top guys and you can just throw him in the 7th inning and cross your fingers, and 70% of the time he'll be all right. So he's on the shelf, probably coming back soon. Same thing with Canely. Canely's been ramping it up a little bit. Tommy Canely, happy he's back on the Yankees. He brings kind of a different, source of confidence on the mound. And I think like having him just among, like we talked about on the last episode, which was freaking 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was, that like having him in the locker room, in the clubhouse, in the bullpen is going to help out Marinaccio. I really do think that Marinaccio is going to be just as good as he was last year, because I think he kind of took that leap in the minor leagues. They sent him down when they shouldn't have, which makes no sense. But now he's got a definitive solidified role in the bullpen. I think our bullpen's great. I think we've got one of the best bullpens in baseball. But the problem with bullpens and postseason baseball is and we saw this last year, if it's hurt, you're screwed. Like, okay, like think about it. We pitched Wandy Peralta in every single playoff game that we were in. Like, we could have killed the guy, like, because he's got to pitch 3 batters. So you have to get yourself in a position where, you're healthy going into October. So I think, just stacking the bullpen with, guys that, that can contribute, the Caneleys and the, Wandys, Marinaccio now. We've got Mike King. We've got Loizaga. We've got Holmes. We don't really have that closer. But at least we're not going into the season with Aroldis Chapman where we got to, sit down on a May afternoon and start gnawing on our fingernails because Aroldis Chapman's in the game and we have no idea what we're going to get. Just absolute box of chocolates. So I love everything up until the closer role. I am confident in Clay Holmes. I think he'll rack up 25 to 30 saves. It's just a consistency thing because last year he lost it. He just lost it. After looking like the most dominant reliever in baseball, he just lost it. So you also need guys, and Luke told me before the episode, like a guy like Loizaga that can step into the role and do a good job. Like he'll probably get 5-10 saves. And having Michael King back. I mean, Luke, talk about Michael King because he's something else.
Yeah, honestly, when I look at the bullpen, I think Clay Holmes is our 3rd best pitcher because I think Mike King is gross. I think Jonathan Loizaga
Best pitcher in the AL East.
Well, he's not, but he's very, very good. No, yeah, I like Mike King kind of in the more like 4 to 5 outs role that he's like we've been comfortable with him stretching out, pitching more than 3 outs on a lot of occasions with a lot of his outings. And then Loizaga when he's right is like he's unbelievable.
Maybe the most disgusting reliever in baseball.
Yeah. I honestly look at Clay Holmes as similar to how I have Aroldis Chapman in the past, where it's like he's a ticking bomb. You never really know when it's going to give out. And if they find kind of a medium with him that they weren't able to find with Chapman, then who knows? But I struggle with players in baseball where it's like they were bad for a while and then they just magically become good. Like I never really believe that it's going to stay. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Clay Holmes kind of fades out of the back end of our bullpen, and I'd be a lot more comfortable if we had Efros too. That would be good. That bullpen, if we had him, and it's like we have Holmes, Loizaga, King, Efros, and Marinaccio, I could be like, okay, Clay Holmes could disappear, and I would still be fine. Because you're right on Marinaccio. I think he's going to be really, really good, and I think we're very good at developing bullpen pitching.
Yeah.
Whether it's one of these guys we brought up or whether it's Weissert or whoever coming up soon, I don't doubt that we can find bullpen arms, whether it's through trades or the minors.
It's fine.
But
we're good.
You can't. Yeah. I really do think we're fine. Even if Weissert was closer tomorrow, I wouldn't feel any type of way about it.
Yeah.
We just gotta stay healthy. I mean, add a guy or two, add some innings, and we'll be fine.
Right. I think the problem with the Yankees is they acknowledge that a guy's a failed starter a little too late. Like Michael King, they kept trying with that guy and it just wasn't working. And then they put him in the bullpen and he's unbelievable, like unfreaking believable. He was unbelievable, like not last year, but the year before that in the bullpen, if you remember. Like they moved him to the
He's
bullpen,
always
completely different pitcher, completely different. And so you have those guys that's your stable right there. And then you got the bottom three. You've got the Albert Abreu, Jimmy Cordero, Matt Crook. I'll start with Matt Crook. He's just got to be Lucas Licky. Like just be Lucas Licky. Like you don't have to be anything more. Just be that, because like as much as we weren't like high on Lucas Licky and we would never, think to bring him into a big spot ever, he ate up innings. Like there were games where I remember one game Cole got knocked out really early against Tampa Bay. Maybe I'm making this up. I just remember like a Lucas Licky like 4-inning long relief, and I was just like, okay, like how did that happen? Like how does he still go for 4 innings? He hasn't even been stretched out. But the thing is, that guy had just a rubber arm. He would just go out there and pitch, and it wasn't great, like is what it is. You just kind of just shrug your shoulders when he's pitching. Matt Crook, started games for Scranton last year, had like a high 3 ERA, was good in summer. So like he's a starter, and he's been starting, but now he's our long reliever. Michael King's also kind of like the Fangraphs list him as a setup man, but he's a long reliever, a high leverage long reliever. Jimmy Cordero, a guy with no options. He's 31 years old, pitched for the White Sox, most notably in the playoffs. He pitched in that A's White Sox 2020, I guess, wild card round series in Oakland. He's got electric stuff. He's consistently 99, 98, 99, 100, good late break, had some good outings in spring, had one bad outing, but is what it is. I'm looking at Fangraphs right now. They're projecting him to throw 56 innings for us with a 3.6 ERA. Like if that guy's going to end up throwing 56 innings, I don't personally see that because of the two guys that we mentioned that are hurt before, with Canely and who am I forgetting? Oh, Trevino. So
yeah,
I think we're probably going to have to end up kicking him to the curb unless we have an injury, which always seems to happen. And then it's Albert Abreu. Like his advanced stats. And I know you're not a big advanced stat guy. I'm not a big advanced stat guy, but like I can appreciate it when someone, can explain it thoroughly for someone like Luke and I. For someone like Luke and I, he had a lot of bad luck last year. If you take all that away, like he had like one outing where he gave up like 7 runs. I remember this was in the Trop. He just got tattooed. You take that outing away, and his ERA was like, I know you can't do that, but his ERA was like low 3, like high 2, low 3. So I'm not completely out on him, but I know like last year when they kicked Marinaccio to Scranton and then they brought in Abreu in Marinaccio's spots and he just got cooked. So we can't do that. He's got to go. We can't just keep kicking. Like if he's bad, see you later. He's got no options.
Yeah, I could see this being a situation. The other two guys have options, right? Crook and
not Cordero. Not Cordero.
Not Cordero. No, not Cordero. Cordero and Bray you don't, but Crook and who's the other one?
That was it. It was Abreu, Cordero,
That's
Crook.
It. Yeah,
Crook
like I honestly
Crook has 3 options.
Okay, I think honestly that Abreu and Cordero kind of sound similar in their makeup, and I think the tryout year, I think it's them two for a spot, at least out of the gate. I think when the first injury comes back, it's like who's been better. If they've both been pretty good, they'll figure it out. But I think they're just giving themselves flexibility to kind of see what they have. I honestly think they do think that Weiser kid's pretty good too, but it makes more sense to play it this way, especially early. We know they're not going to play the first game of the year with the intensity or the moves that they make as one in August when we're in a division race, stuff like that. So I think they're playing the long game with the back end of this or the front end of this bullpen. And yeah, I mean, when it gets back to full strength, when we make a trade, when we make a call up, I think it's going to be fantastic. So
yeah. The pitching, it's all about health. And I feel like it's always about health. Like, a guy that you could think about, like, that we could get later in the season, maybe in the bullpen, because we always like to compare this guy, or at least I like to compare him, Luis Hill, like Dellin Betances. He's giving me a little Dellin Betances vibes. Hasn't been as bad as Betances was as a starter. He was actually looked pretty good as a starter for us. Like he's
That would be
got
cool.
crazy velocity, man.
He throws hard.
He's got swagger. Like you could just totally
Yeah.
see that guy out of the bullpen eventually. Like you just got to keep a guy like that around. And
Yeah.
He's only got one option left. So they got to, get him right and then, make decisions. So we opened talking about Volpe. I think it's time to talk about Volpe. This guy, I don't love making the Jeter comparison. That's too hard. I like to look at it outside of the Yankee organization, try to compare him to somebody else, because then there's really no pressure to fulfill, no shoes to fill in New York. When I look at him, he's giving me a Dustin Pedroia kind of. Dustin Pedroia is a lot smaller, maybe not a lot smaller, but smaller. But very quick, could pop home runs. Yeah, he was playing in Fenway. He was just hitting him over the monster. Always hustling, just giving it 130% at all times. I remember like that debate where it was like Yankees got rid of Cano, and like people were like, "Oh, we didn't like a Cano. Like he wasn't hustling." I think Mariano may have said this. He said he would take Pedroia any day of the week because Pedroia is always hustling and always going out there and going 130%. Volpe's giving me that, but at the same time, like the way he kind of conducts himself, and kind of just like his swing, and how he could be a leader, like David Wright, similar people. And I don't think Volpe is as fiery as Pedroia, but I think with Volpe is like he's gonna like flip out once, maybe not like early on in his career, but like maybe year 2, year 3, he's gonna flip out and everyone's gonna go nuts. Like when Jeter got angry, he never really got too angry, but like when you saw like a different side of him, because he's just like a lighthearted, nice kid. I think it's gonna be a similar thing, and I think giving him that David Wright comparison is a little more fair because he was the Mets captain, had power, great glove, consistent, didn't stay healthy. Same thing with Pedroia. So I'm hoping that I'm comparing Anthony Volpe to the players, the talent themselves, and not how they kind of fizzed out with their injuries. But I'm really excited, man. He's a really good player, and I think they needed to call him up.
They did. He's a special kid. I have started to I think he likes the Jeter thing. I really do. He has such a he's not super outspoken, carries himself the right way, but he has moxie, like he has confidence. You can tell just with little things.
Yeah.
He's not hesitant out there. He swings hard. When he's in the field, he knows what he's doing, knows where he's going. Doesn't do the IKF thing where he runs to the bag.
How many times did you say the IKF thing last year? I mean, that's just your thing.
Because he has a lot of things.
The IKF
but thing. No, seriously, yeah. I mean, Volpe's just concise swing, crushes the ball, can hit a lot of doubles, can hit some home runs, can hit for high average, plays really good defense. And yeah, I mean, he made his number 11. He loves the Jeter thing. I thought he was quieter than he is. I think it's similar to Judge, where we just assume the kid's quiet because he knows when to keep his mouth shut. But you could tell just the way he plays, how confident he is in himself. And he completely earned the job. And it would have been kind of a joke if he didn't.
Yep.
And I still think Peraza's coming up soon, depending on how other guys play, trades.
Yep.
But no, I'm excited. It's a jolt of new life for sure. This is the first one in a while. Like when Judge was coming up, it was like a September call up. Yep. We didn't like Aaron Judge is coming up. Like this is Anthony Volpe. And no, I'm very excited.
Yeah, he this is, I mean, he's the youngest player to play on opening day since Jeter. Like you're right. Like he loved Jeter growing up. That was his guy. He likes the comparison. I just think like there are going to be growing pains. You're playing shortstop for the New York Yankees. it's very hard to just, step in and be that guy. Like, look at Judge. Judge came up 2016, couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. I mean, he was lost. And Volpe, he's a lot. What we could ask from Anthony Volpe is be that confident kid, be a leader in that clubhouse, even at a young age, because it's gonna be your time, eventually. But also, like, remember when Glaber came up, like he hit right away. So, and if that Glaber and Volpe are our last like really really high prospects,
Yeah.
like if Volpe can kind of settle in like Glaber did, because Glaber did settle in. You can't take that away from the guy. Like, he came up in 2018 and hit 28 home runs. Like, I think Volpe in a full season, he's gonna hit 20 home runs. I think he's a 20-20 guy at the beginning. I think he could end up being a 25-30 guy. I'm not trying to make the expectations too high. I'm gonna be totally fine if he gets off to a little bit of a slow start, because if Connor Follett is playing, like, and he's not playing well, it's just gonna make me angry. So I'd rather have somebody else. But it's just like, if you look at the roster and you look at this lineup, and you want to like kind of change the image. You don't want to get to the playoffs every October and try to rely on the home run. You need a different image. I just said image again, but you look at Volpe, you look at Perazi, you look at frickin' Oswaldo Cabrera. Like, these guys are athletic, young, fast. Like, they might not be the fastest guys on the team, or they probably are, honestly. But if they might not be the fastest guys in the league, but they're always moving, they're always hustling. We don't have that. Like, Josh Donaldson, like, yeah, he's gonna move down first base. Glaber doesn't hustle. Stanton is told not to hustle. Like, like, it just, having a young core and pairing it with like the older guys, it works. It's worked before in baseball. It's meant to be like that. So I still think you need to look at our lineup and be like, all right, like, we need to add more balanced hitters. Like, we've got Judge. Like, if DJ's going to come back and do what he did through his first 2 seasons, fantastic. Like, that helps me think that we can win the World Series. Like, think about Trevino. Last year, he made us all forget about Gary Sanchez. Like, all forget. He puts the ball in play, and he does it well, and he hits in the clutch. It's just the guys like Hicks and Glaber and Donaldson, but like, you can fix that, and we have guys in the organization that can step in and do different things. And I think that's what makes me feel so good about the Yankees offensively, is we've got the guys already. It's just a matter of when they're going to step in, and when the Yankees are just going to be like, you know what, we're done with these guys.
This Aaron Judge being named the captain, he was the unofficial captain for so long, but he was always one of the younger in terms of age players on the team. I just think they called him that because he was the best player, to be totally honest. And I think now he has to show that he's a true leader and he can work well with this kid. It already seems like they're boys.
Yep.
He was vouching for him in spring training. And I'm bringing this up because I see that, and I see like a pattern where it's like, now Judge is the guy, and he can be the guy, and Volpe can see him on a day-to-day basis and talk him through some stuff. And I think this is where Judge earns that. It's not the performance, it's how you lead the young kids. And it's like, yeah, all right, we've seen Glaber with the mopey attitude, and Oswaldo's come up with the fire. And so it's like, okay, like, we've had these guys where it's like, all right, we need to see him help Volpe now in terms of like keeping spirits high. It's his position. It's his job to lose. He's at Yankee Stadium. There's gonna be a lot of that going through his head, and a lot of it's gonna rely on Judge and Rizzo and Stanton. And like you said, I think we have a good balance of the veterans and young guys. I think all we had was veterans the last couple of years. Now we're seeing Volpe. You mentioned him earlier. Oswaldo Cabrera may just be like a star. I don't know what he we said it when we saw him in the minor leagues. Like, he's just explosive. He's an explosive athlete. And if he can put it together with his swing, we know he's a great defender. But if he can just hit well, I mean, the sky's the limit for that kid. We have a lot of kids coming up. And I think now we've got to see, all right, is Glaber going to do it? Is JD going to do it? Is DJ going to stay healthy? And then reevaluate. Center field, another thing. Bader's already hurt. So it's like, okay, is he going to come back, or are we going to have to make another move? Or are we just going to ride it out like we did with IKF and Volpe until the guy Dominguez is ready, which I think that's next year. But
yeah,
there's a lot of it's like now that we're talking about it, I can see it's like slowly like coming together. It's just a process. It's not easy to win championships in Major League Baseball. So yeah.
Oswaldo Cabrera, like, can you just be Melky Cabrera? Like you're a switch hitter. You can play the corner outfield. Like, be the milkman, man. Like that would be cool. Like, I just think the Yankees are so good at like getting guys where it's like they might not be top prospects, but if you bring them in and then they can, make a difference. Oswaldo's cool, man. He's 24 years old. He's not an old rookie. He's got years of control. He's not going anywhere. He's here. He's here. He just needs to play every day. And I don't know if they're gonna necessarily do that. And I think that's a big mistake, because playing Aaron Hicks over Oswaldo Cabrera is not gonna get you anywhere. You want Cabrera to be settled into left field. So when we're in October and JD or whoever the heck's playing third base, there's a pop-up and Cabrera's just running in there and just lets it fall in like he did last postseason. Like, he needs to be ready for those moments. And if you play him, 110 games in left field, he's going to be more prepared. That's just how it goes. He needs to play. Okay. I think he plays a whole season. I think he can give you 240, 250. I think he could crack 18 to 20 home runs, 60 RBIs, steal 10, 15 bags. Like, that's what you can get from a guy like that, because he's athletic and he's a switch hitter. Like, he also helps the lineup. He also helps split up all these righties. We still got the righties. We try to do the lefty thing. We even were blessed with Matt Carpenter last year. Still couldn't even do the lefty thing. Just ended up falling apart.
Can't have anything.
They can't
have anything.
It just can't. They built the roster the wrong way to begin with, and now we're kind of seeing how this is a little shifting. But it's not really like they went out and did this. Like, these are just guys within the organization. Like, it's shifting, and that's exciting. And I'm so bipolar about the Yankees. I could be throwing up my hands, just, going on and on about how I hate this guy, hate that guy. But what you got to understand is there's a future here. And I think we're just better than a lot of other teams. Like the Indians scare me, the Blue Jays, whatever. The Astros are there, and they're always going to be there. So we need to build our team around really just beating them, because that's just the obstacle in the way. We need to get there. So
yeah, I mean, we'll make an 09 parallel every year, but like in 09, we were ready to go when the Angels were kind of on the decline a little bit, and we were the better team and we won. And we just have to hope that history kind of repeats itself. That's how kind of like water always finds its level. Like, eventually think they're not going to be great forever, and we just have to hope that when they start to fall off, we're ready to go. But yeah, until Bader comes back, I think Oswaldo's playing 5 to 6 times a week. I don't see how you don't. We have Judge in the outfield. We'll probably play Stanton right opening day. He'll probably play the outfield 2 or 3 times a week in like the best scenario, or like if
they gotta find a way to get all these guys in there. Like, it's gonna be a lot of moving parts.
They play Stanton 2-3 times a week. When they're not playing Stanton in the outfield, our other 2 outfielders are Hicks and Cabrera right now.
Yeah.
So they have to be, it's one of those things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, how it is.
I think I want to move on to Josh Donaldson, because the thing with JD is, yes, he's getting paid way too much money. He just put up his worst season of his career. We all wanted to scream at him I mean, I went to Yankee games and just heckled him because I had the opportunity to, made the most out of it. He's 37. If he didn't think he had anything in the tank, I've heard this argument. If he thought he didn't have anything in the tank, he would have retired. Yes. Is he making $25 million this year to play baseball? Yeah. So he's not passing that up. So I don't like to hear that argument. But the thing is, you saw an adjustment. When I was little, kids would waggle their bat and whatnot. And like the easiest way to help speed up your bat is to make sure that, before the pitch is coming, you're ready to go. You're set. If you're moving herky jerky and everything, you're going to be late. Now, Josh Donaldson got away with it for so long because he was young, spry, strong. Was he juicing? I don't know. He was ready. He was so much faster. He still has that like tenacity. He's still very tenacious. He's an aggressive player, but he's just slower. So seeing him in the offseason make these adjustments where, he's got the bat on his shoulder, don't necessarily love, but he's ready. He's ready to hit. He's getting his foot down early. Hicks did the same thing, but Donaldson is a guy where it's like he put up 800 OPS from 2013 to 2021. Like if he can just get back to, 25 bombs and hit 240, 250, we would be, tipping our cap, clapping. We wouldn't be, thrilled. But if you look at it like comparatively last year, we would sign up for that right now and he would be a starting player. I just hope, we've had that option with him, team option next year. Just no more. Just no more. If you get another good season out of him, see you later. But I still think I wanted to be confident about Joey Gallo before last year, but I really wasn't. But I feel like I've got some genuine confidence in my body with Josh Donaldson, and I don't necessarily like it, but what are we going to ask for?
Yeah, I'll always have some confidence in a former MVP, especially when he's making
Joey
adjustments. He won an MVP.
No, I'm just saying he didn't win an MVP.
Yeah, no. Same with like Aaron Hicks, where it's like the talent just
he's a bust.
Like he was a good player when he was in his prime, but he wasn't great. Like he doesn't have the talent to keep it going when his body starts wearing down. Josh Donaldson still has that juice. He's just older and has to adjust. And I'm not like confident in it, but it wouldn't surprise me. And hearing Aaron Boone, he got asked about who's this year's Nestor because he told Nestor he's going to be an all-star. Said JD. I don't know who else he would have said, but
like, what is he going to say? Glaber? I mean, he was an all-star 2 years ago.
Maybe. Well,
why would
that would have been a good. Yeah, Glaber was too good statistically, but Glaber's a whole other thing. He doesn't have the other side of it. He's a good skilled player. I think anyway, we're getting off. Josh Johnson, I think he could have a bounce back year, especially how bad he was last year. No, but yeah, with Glaber, I think he started out so hot, coming up as a prospect. Maybe his skills, like his physical talents, got overstated a little bit. And I think now we're seeing the mental side break down. And to be honest, he's the one I'm least confident in will have a true, genuine impact on winning games because he didn't have a bad statistical year last year. He was good for a good part of it, but it's a long season, and I don't think he's lost that youth mentality. And that's what I was talking about earlier with Judge and Volpe, where Judge kind of has to coach him through, especially at the beginning, not to get too down if he's struggling, not if he's hitting well, not to get too big of a head. And yeah, I don't think we can't make the same mistakes twice within the organization with our young guys.
The thing that bothers me the most is I know that if Glaber was on a team in a smaller market, maybe the Marlins, maybe the maybe not the Mariners, but like the Marlins, he'd be a 30 homer guy. And he was almost a 30 homer guy if he didn't, fall off the face of the earth in June and July. Like he just has to be more consistently 250. you can't be 400 one month and then hit 065 the next. Like you have to be hit 1 for 4 every day. Like please, like we can't have you just completely disappear for some months and then like can't worry about that when we get to the playoffs. You just need to be consistent in who you are. Like if he's going to be a 250 hitter and hit 25 home runs, do that, more stretched out. Like you don't have to be the best hitter in baseball for a month and then be the worst. Like please don't do that again. He's got an extra year of control. And I keep forgetting that. We can trade him. Like I just don't really understand why we haven't yet. Like we've got other guys ready to go.
I think part of it last year too is you can't have a 310 OBP.
I mean,
Like
dude,
he doesn't know how
take
to
a
play.
pitch.
Like he doesn't know how to play. He plays like I play video games. First pitch in the zone, regardless of count, regardless of situation, anything, he swings.
He just swings and then
He
like
has
runs
no
away.
plan.
He just like he's so like he swings like
That's
the game's on the line. Like every first pitch, just dude, have more of an approach. When we saw Glaber in like May of last year, and he was just hammering balls to right center field, that was an approach. Glaber had an approach, and then he got away from it, and then became the worst hitter on the Yankees.
yeah. To be fair, you can't just have the approach of hit the ball the opposite way in the
No,
major leagues.
but you can
But
adjust
and
and
I
have
don't
different
think
ones.
he's capable to having like deeper approaches than that where I don't think he has it up there. And that's why we went so dead last year in the summer or whenever we did, because it was like we have guys like Glaber, we have guys like IKF where the first pitch in the zone, they're just swinging and hitting a ground ball, hitting a pop up. And you can't win games that way. You can't win games that way. You have to just you have to look at things like that because that's the difference between a good team that gets swept in the ALCS versus a team that goes to the World Series. That's just we're going in the right direction though. We really are. I talked myself into Clark Schmidt earlier. I don't know why. I mean, he has the talent. He was wasn't like the highest pick, but he wasn't a bum.
He was drafted 16th overall in the first round.
Yeah, that's not
pretty
bad.
high.
That's not bad. That's a high pick. It's higher than Josh.
Really high.
It's higher than Volpe. No, but I'm kidding. No, I do think we're just so deep as an organization. We just have to put the right pieces together.
Yeah, we do. You kind of hinted at the Harrison Bader injury. I think he'll be more of a middle of May guy. I mean, he's got to get at bats in. It's not like he was at the World Baseball Classic, but he standing at the All-Star game. Bader needs more at bats. He was really good when he played this spring. He's obviously going to play when he comes back. I was just afraid that they were going to do this thing where they were playing Hicks out there every day. I didn't necessarily know Oswaldo Cabrera hit 350 during the spring and hit like 4 or 5 home runs and like a bunch of extra base hits. So I was thinking like, all right, like Hicks is going to be out there every day. And I just had a weird feeling that he was just going to hit well. And then when Bader came back, they were going to be like, what do we do now? Because we got to just play Harrison Bader. We traded for him. We're paying him. They're also paying Hicks. And then Bader was going to come in and not hit, and they were just going to go through this endless cycle. But Oswaldo Cabrera is like the break in this, like where it's just like he's just got to play every day, and it shouldn't be Hicks. So they can just shift everything back down. But you trade Glaber when Bader comes back. If Cabrera's playing well, you've got Cabby in left, Bader in center, Judge in right. You've got Stanton at DH. And then you trade away a player and you could play DJ in the infield. You have all that. If you don't trade a player, it's either DJ or Glaber, and they're on the bench. And I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
We're very close to a Cabrera, Bader, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, DJ, Volpe,
Trevino,
which
it's
looks
young.
great. And that having having that with Josh Donaldson, if he's competent as your 10th guy, can DH, can play third. That's the type of thing that we could put us in the spot where we're gonna trade at the deadline, maybe get the extra piece, and then we're closer than I think even I thought. I try to be as confident as I can. That's not really who I am, but I try to. But talking about it, I think Yankees Twitter, Yankees podcast world, or whatever is a little too down because it doesn't look great on the surface right now, but we're closer than a lot
I
of
just
people realize.
don't think enough people are acknowledging what we've got coming. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like
Yeah,
what we've got coming and who's like not going to be like, even like guys like Andres Chaparro, like this guy's in spring training. He looks like freaking Sammy Sosa. Like I don't know what's going on with him. But he's not even like a top prospect. But he's a guy that like in a couple of years, if he was our starting first baseman and we don't have 30, I mean Rizzo's 33 right now, but in 2 years, like 35-year-old Anthony Rizzo, and we've got this young kid who's 25 and he's hitting bombs. Like, let's go. Like, I think people aren't acknowledging that we've got, like, outside of our top 3 prospects, we've got a lot of really good, talented players. So it's just the pitching prospects. That's just where I'm a little, because if Nestor regresses and Cole continues to regress, and we just need to build that. That's what I think you need to go into the draft the next couple of years and just draft pitching over.
You're gonna have to pay for a pitcher. I've said it 100 times. We
Austin Wells
develop it.
Austin Wells, another guy.
Gosh.
I didn't even bring up.
No.
He's gonna hit 280 to 300 in the big leagues. Write it down. Like, and a cat. He'll
probably be our first baseman.
Probably. That was what I was gonna say. He'll probably end up being our first baseman. But just Chaparro plays third base. So like, all right, let's go. Like, we've got the guys. It's just the pitching. But right now, you got to live in the moment. We've got a good roster as always. You just got to play the right guys. Just build this different image. We signed Franchy Cordero this morning after Estevan, Stevie, Florial.
They did weird things. I don't know what was going on this morning.
So Florial made the team, and luckily Willie Calhoun took an option because that didn't need to happen. He hit like 300 this spring. That was cool. Lefty, okay, maybe someone down the line. We bring on Florial, who has no options, and then we sign Cordero the next day. I haven't heard anything about what they're doing with Florial. I haven't heard a word. Maybe the move hasn't been finalized and it's going to be like tomorrow. Maybe that's just it. But I don't know. Like, the thing about DFAing and Florial is he's going to get scooped immediately. Like, if he clears, like, immediately, someone's going to give him a chance. I think now you can kind of just trade him for some minor league pitcher. Just do it. Like, don't even think about it. Or pair him with Kiner Falefa. Then you might get something like a little bit, like maybe you'll find like a fringe 4-5 guy in the rotation that you can eat you innings and get you to that, like I said, 550, 600 ball when all these other guys come back. I think they need.
Right before we were talking about Franchy, I was laughing because I was like, we haven't said a word about Kiner Falefa in any role, doing anything.
Nothing. He has no role.
Well, he can't do anything. He can't do anything.
He hits the ball on the ground and he does it like over and over and over. But then like when he's not hitting, he's just, his at bats are good morning, good afternoon, good night, and they're all out of the zone. Like, he doesn't even look. Like, he just swings.
His only skill is being good at third base, and if you give him 500 at bats, he'll give you 260 with no OBP. That's like all that guy brings.
Here's the thing with him. Like, if he ends up staying on the team, like the Yankees have had guys like Luis Soho in the 90s, where early 2000s, if you remember, like Luis Soho in the 2000 World Series hit like a 9-hopper off Al Leiter, who was at 150 pitches, and that won him the game. IKF can hit a 9-hopper. Like he might not be the Yankees' good luck charm as people used to call Luis Soho, but in like a pinch hit role, he's not the worst, the worst thing, you could have.
No,
Like,
yeah, he's
having a
not.
guy that can just put the ball in play over and over and over, those guys never, I don't really think those guys ever fizz out. They might not be as important as they once were. That's just really not how the game goes and the analytics and all that. But situationally, you bring in a guy like IKF was clutch last year. You can't take that away from him. He had big hits. He just did. Sometimes they're in the fourth inning and you didn't really see it at the end, but he had that big hit off Clase off the wall, like won them the game pretty much. He's clutch and he puts the ball in play. So I don't like completely writing him off, but I think we're so thin at starting pitching right now that we could kind of use him as a piece. I just kind
Yeah.
of talked myself out of trading IKF because I think he could contribute off the bench, and that's it. He's fast, put the ball in play. But I also think there's a world where we also trade him.
No, yeah. I would almost rather trade Glaber than IKF.
Yes.
And it's not because like I think calling IKF like a clutch player is like a little much. He
was
does have
clutch
good
last
moments,
year. He was clutch last year. I can't go as far to say he's a clutch player. You clutch for 1 year.
Yeah, no, I mean, he had some good moments. I mean, if you're gonna run the guy out there 150 games, you better have a couple memorable moments, to be fair. But
you would be surprised.
like I guess, yeah. But I was always comfortable with him when there were runners on base in scoring position, but not a guy on first base. Because when he has a chance to hit into a double play, he just will.
Why can't people just bunt? I don't know. We haven't even talked about the new rules. Like what's gonna happen? Like what's actually going to happen? Is nothing gonna happen? Because I think our team's built around guys that work fast. Like Herman, I mean, dude, that guy works faster than anyone in baseball.
Judge, Stanton, they don't leave the box. Garrett Cole, if we don't give him time to think, he'll probably be better. Yeah, I mean, with the shift, 2 guys on each side, find the open hole. Like John Downton was another sneaky shift guy where now that there's like no rules, just hit it where they're like
hit it where it's
crush the ball.
Yeah.
Just crush the ball. I mean, we could speculate. I don't really know for sure until it starts, but I think our pitchers are going to be fantastic with the rules.
Nestor, did you see what he did the other day?
Yeah, he's crazy. I
love it. He's awesome. He just brings like something that you never thought the Yankees were ever going to have, and that's just why he's just awesome. I'll always love that guy.
If we were like if we just become like a great team this year, I honestly think we can. Like we've got like a great team this year, a great team next year, whatever. He could have that like El Duque to him, where it's just like Nestor Day in the playoffs, and everyone's like, oh, like,
dude, he was like, yeah, he had the weird start against Houston. He got tagged. Supposedly he was hurt, but that
did he get like tagged?
Like sort of, not really. It was like he gave up like 4 runs.
Because I thought we lost every game like 4-0, and it just wasn't even close.
Nestor in that deciding game 5 though, Luke, like he was unbelievable. Like when we came back, remember that rain delay canceled the 5th game?
He was tough.
I don't know if we were gonna win that 5th game because Nestor wouldn't have been available. We wouldn't have.
And they would have pitched Bieber, or they could have pitched Bieber and they didn't.
The next day we get Nestor. They roll out Savali. Like
that was the craziest thing I've ever
seen. It was
like
they tried to lose, but Nestor pitched really well. And I'll never forget that play where he just was on his what and threw out Straw at first base. Like that.
I mean,
he's just awesome.
You can't take that stuff. I don't know. It was game 4, so
the series was
season was over. And he 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks. I believe he was hurt if he's just walking guys. That's not really him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you're down 3-0 in a playoff series and your lineup's Bader, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Glaber, Donaldson, Oswaldo, IKF, Matt Carpenter, Peraza, like it was kind of dead, especially with Hurt Stanton down 3-0.
Yeah.
We got to get
Yeah.
Glaber out, man. He makes this lineup look so much worse.
I want to talk about the lineup really quick. I know we're kind of going all over the place. I think I'm kind of just looking at one right now, but and Cabrera's not in this one, but if Cabrera's in left and Stanton's in right and DJ's DHing, it's got to be, and I would love to hit Volpe higher, but you got to bat him ninth for now. DJ, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Glaber, Cabrera, Donaldson. You could flip Donaldson and Glaber if you want, but Cabrera's got to hit sixth. You could also hit Cabrera fifth, but I think moving him down. So LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Glaber, Cabrera, Donaldson, Trevino, Volpe. You don't even touch it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all about Donaldson and Glaber. It's flip-flopping those guys. Because, I mean, you're not going to mess with...
We just need another guy. We just need another guy.
We need a lefty.
Well, we need Bader.
We need
Bader back, and we need one more guy that...
If this team had Luis
Like,
Arias,
on our best team, it's like Waldo's like our 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Trevino's 9. But then the top, like that and above. Like, if you could give me 6 players that are like nice, and then go Waldo, Bader, catcher.
Yeah.
Which it feels like we're not that far away. But it's hard. I don't know.
Dude, I may do this on every episode. I may bring up his name every episode. But you can't tell me that if Luis Arias was playing second base instead of Glaber, this team isn't like the World Series winner. Like it's that minuscule. All it is just getting I mean, maybe not, but just getting someone different than Glaber. Like, go get a lefty that puts the ball, like, go get a 300 hitter. Is that so much to ask for? I mean, I know
like,
it is.
Yeah.
Like
That's the problem.
Fangraphs projects our lineup. The highest average in our lineup is Judge at 279. Like, go and get a 300 hitter. Like, I know it's hard, but do it. What Luis Arias went for Pablo Lopez and a prospect? They wanted Glaber and more last year for Pablo Lopez. He ends up being the worst pitcher in the second half, and they flip him for Luis Arias. Come on.
Yeah, we're close, but we're not there.
We need we need a 300 hitter. If DJ's not going to hit 300,
I mean, like 280s to do 300 now. I mean, batting average is dead. But
throw that out of the way. Arias is hitting 320 every year. So what does that make him?
Ted
Williams?
He's like, yes,
Tony Gwynn.
Like he's a different guy, man. He also can't play defense, right? Whatever. We're not getting Luis Arias, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we do need another guy or 2.
Yeah. All right, impulse right now. AL, NL MVP. I'm just throwing this at you right now.
AL, NL MVP. Well, see, the thing about me is I pick the same players for this sort of thing.
You can't do Bryce Harper.
Time.
You can't do Bryce Harper.
Yeah, but I can't do Bryce Harper. So AL, NL, MVP.
If you want me to go first, you can.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm going with Vlad because just think he's going to win it. And then in the National League, Mookie Betts. I just see it.
For NL, I'll go Trey Turner.
It's a good one.
I don't know. It's like,
the Phillies are scary.
They're really like not right now, actually. I was thinking about it. It's Trey Turner and Schwarber, and then who?
Well, yeah. Castellanos.
Yeah, he has to bounce back, though. AL, I mean, Shohei, like, I'll
Yeah.
be that guy. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
going to be Shohei, Judge, or Vlad, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Jordan can't win it, right? Because he's not a fielder. Like, can
Yeah.
Jordan,
No.
will they ever give it to him? Like, probably
Once.
not.
Once. I
Maybe.
mean,
Okay.
Ryan Howard won it. Like, I know he was a first baseman. I mean, Big Poppy won it. I think. I don't know. What do I know?
But
I don't
David
know.
Ortiz was like Jesus, though, sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, he had those years. I
They're the
honestly,
same player. I've said it since Jordan came in the league. They're the same player. I'm sorry.
it blows my like I saw a TikTok today about A-Rod,
Mm.
and it had been so long since I comprehended how just actually so good he was. Like he hit 30 and 100 for like 10 years in a row. That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard.
He was my favorite, man. I don't care.
I wish he was cooler. He's such a nerd.
He did sue the Yankees, so like kind of have to
Oh, I don't
factor that
care.
in. Well, I mean
Nah.
that's pretty like you're suing the Yankees.
If Aaron Judge won us a ring and then sued us, I would not care.
Yeah, but why would he sue you?
Who
I mean, he was
cares?
suing the Yankees about, like his
The PD.
wrongdoing. Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
don't.
a double fault. I'm sorry. But I still like A-Rod. All right. We're playing opening days tomorrow. You're going to be listening. If anyone's listening, you're going to be listening on opening day. We've got Garrett Cole on the bump, and we're going against the San Francisco Giants, who might not break 73 wins. I mean, this team is horrible. Like, this team
Yeah.
is hard. They've got Mitch Haniger. Okay. They might have like three players that like might kick our rear end. I'm looking at it. This is bad. Mitch Haniger is a 368 hitter against the Yankees. Brandon Crawford is hitting 320 ABs. They've got Austin Slater, who's hitting 600. They've got the weird players, but this team stinks. I'm sorry. Like Mike
No, yeah.
Yaz.
The Giants Dodgers game we went to last summer was depressing.
Yeah, no,
They had nothing.
They have nothing.
They had nothing.
Nothing. And that was did they just lose somebody? No, they just have nothing. Their
They don't
hopes
have
were
anything.
Trey Turner, Aaron Judge, and all the above. And they got Michael Conforto and Mitch Haniger.
Yeah, I still kind of wish we had Michael Conforto if he could play like
That means no Oswaldo.
I guess left field. Yeah, true. Well, no, we would figure it out. No, you're right. You're right.
Conforto, Crawford, J.D. Davis, Tyro Estrada, Wilmer Flores, Mitch Haniger.
This is gonna be a frustrating game to watch. This is gonna be yeah, it's gonna be.
Someone's
gonna
hit like a home run off Cole in like the 6th inning, and it's gonna be the end of the line. It's gonna be someone that we just don't like. Like
it's gonna be like, oh my god, we're
Jock.
actually gonna lose.
Yeah,
Jock's cool. He's another one.
Do we even have a game 2? I guess it's Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt for game 2 against So game 2 is Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's Schmidt Cobb on Fox at 4.
Oh, why?
They
probably thought Judge was going to San Francisco and they just took a gamble on it.
Or Correa.
Correa.
Oh my god, that was Correa. They had Correa. They didn't have Correa. Oh, and then game 3 is Stripling versus Herman. So
may not watch. No, okay. That's a tough game 3.
Yeah. That's like that's a peacock game if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Take 2 out of 3, get off to a good start. Let's see Rizzo, Stanton, Judge go deep. Let's see DJ couple hits, Donaldson couple hits. I want to see, dude, if Donaldson goes like 3 for 4 on opening day, I'm just gonna
he's back. Yeah, he's fully
I'm
back.
just gonna start saying things that I probably shouldn't say.
Yeah, agreed. That's baseball.
So, well, it was great talking to you guys. We haven't had an episode in a while, but it wasn't really too much to talk about. That's what Luke and I always say, because that's just, how we look at things. But we're here. We said our piece. Now it's time for you guys to listen for the 3rd season of the Monument Park podcast. Luke, anything else?
No, I'm all good for now. We got to see what happens.
That's right. All right. Thanks, y'all, for listening and watching. Links in the description. We'll see you soon. Peace.